time again when the Powerpuff Pals are gathering in this wonderful discussion space to take to you, our dear listeners, a very potent. We like the word potent because it shows that we're very serious with our discussion and keeping Christ in the center. Now, the topic for our discussion this evening is a very short one, and we will be doing it in a very quick succession discussion. And it is entitled, we will be discussing the whole idea of integrity this evening. Integrity. First of all, before we go into the discussion, pals, can we define integrity so that we can start off on the right foot with this discussion? What is integrity?
So integrity is something that's personal to each individual because first and foremost, you have to define what are your moral standards and what is it you're willing to stand for. There's a saying that says that if you're unwilling to stand for something, then you'll fall for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be willing to stand up to the point of losing friends or losing even your life for what you believe in. And that's integrity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? What is your word of discussion? And
Dictionary.
repeat?
Dictionary definition for integrity is the quality of being honest and having a strong moral principle.
Mm-hmm.
State of being whole or undivided. So exactly what Georgette said.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it also includes you knowing yourself and also um, knowing yourself and what it is that you want for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and then being absolute in terms of standing for those principles, not
Amen.
compromise.
Amen. Amen. Earlier on, one of our pals, I must say congratulations, congratulations, pal Trish has become one of our local JPs in Jamaica, St. Catherine to be exact. And her discussion in the whole idea of her success was on being a JP was she did a course and the course taught her like it was a follow on what she believed that she wanted to be a person of integrity, and she was explaining some of the components of the course that she did, and I could just see myself in her words. Trish, can you just explain a little bit more about how you see integrity in that small course that you did that led up to your assignment, your new assignment?
Well, as Georgette mentioned, I was looking for a definition myself to lead up to. And the definition is the quality of being honest and having strong morals and principles. So I did a leadership course called Transformational Leadership, and on the module integrity, we discussed so much and some things that we take for granted sometimes. Like, for example, one of the candidates was saying that, you know, if it is that they say, for example, they work in the tax office and their friend or colleagues call to say, come in the line and assist them with something, it would have mean that they would have breached their integrity because they have other people out there in the line, want to be serviced and they're not, but yet still I would just walk up to them and get through. Now, those are simple little things, and it came out in the class that every one of us are guilty of those things, because once we have a friend work somewhere, we just call them and it's done. And it is true. Now, coming out of the course, it led me to come home and think and wonder and like, oh my God, this course comes at a timely time because I am going to be commissioned, and these are some things that I have to look at, and it can't be that I'm going to authorize things for somebody because I know them. But what if whatever I'm authorizing is unethical and it is not legal, then it is going to have to break that friendship, because I now need to stand up for what I believe in, and I now need to live up to my integrity.
Amen.
as
Amen.
to being a justice of the peace.
Amen. But the question I want to ask, pals, maybe in your own word, one word, are Christians expected to have integrity? Or should we cultivate integrity, or integrity become a part of our Christian walk?
Well,
Christians. Go ahead.
Christians are followers of Christ. So if we are following the things that Christ did, then it is a given that we should have integrity, because when you looked at Jesus while he was on earth, he didn't show favoritism to the rich and the famous. He showed equality to all men. And when someone was wrong, he told them they were wrong, and he wasn't afraid that, they were a great Pharisee or a king. So integrity is understanding that everybody falls on an equal footing, and right can never be wrong, and wrong can never be right, no matter how you pretty it up.
Amen. Amen. I'm sure that we have come across many, many persons who profess to be Christians, and we have left their presence confirming that that person don't have any integrity. What are some of the things that we as Christians do that shows that we don't have any integrity? Simple stuff. Maybe just name them one by one. We don't have to go through any discussion. What are some of the things that we do? Yeah.
I mean, telling lies or saying something that you definitely know it is not so. Or promising something and you know you're not going to fulfill that promise. You know the person is depending on you. As Christians, I don't think we should do that.
I think of little things that we do to help our own friends and relatives. For example, I had a staff who wanted me to write a letter to say she was working with me for 10 years when she was only working with me for 2 years. Until I know. And people might think I'm hard. What is so hard about us writing like a letter that she can get her visa? She's only been working with me for 2 years.
Right.
And I can't say she's working for me for 10 years when she's only been working for 2 years. I've had situations where, for example, as an attorney, I'm required to write letters to recommend somebody to get a firearm, for example. I've had to say no to people. I've said no because when I speak to the wives, I find out that they're abusive, and I'm not going to help anybody to get a gun who I know go and use it on them wife. So little things like that. They might seem like insignificant things, but they're hard to say no to. It's not easy when people who come to you and you have to tell them, "So boy, I don't feel comfortable to write that letter." I had a situation where a helper of mine who left suddenly called back to ask me for a recommendation, and I said to her, "What must I write?" Because I'd have to write to say that you're unreliable, that you will not turn up. So I say, I'm not the right person for you to provide that recommendation. Perhaps someone else had a good experience with you, and they would be a better person to write that recommendation.
Yes.
It is quite obvious that this whole issue of integrity is a problem, and Ellen G. White saw that because she said in the book Education, the greatest want of the world is the want of men who will not be bought or sold, who in their inmost souls are true and honest, men who do not fear to call sin by its right name, men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole, men who will stand for the right, though the heavens fall. As I listen to Paul Trish and Paul George, I realized that of a truth, it is rare having that level of integrity, even among Christians, and I think it's because it's not called out. It's not a big sin, and so it can be easily overlooked and taken as something normal. But as Georgia rightly said, as Christians, we have to demonstrate integrity in everything that we do. The Bible tells us that there is a cloud of witnesses that is around us and who are watching us in our daily dealings. The Bible also, it is commonly said that people don't read their Bible, they read your life, how it is that you operate and deal with others. And so, in order for us to be true representatives of Christ, we really have to live a life of integrity. It may offend others in doing so, but the Bible says we must fear God and not man.
Oh boy, I catch. Katie, and you said something there about LNG, where the want of men and women, who will not be bought or sold. As you can look in as you can look in the reflectors of your life, the reflectors from times gone by and even present time, I'm sure that you're counting the amount of persons that we have to deal with as Christians that show evidence of no integrity whatsoever. And I'm talking about all the words spell integrity, none, in simple stuff. But this evening, as pals, we just want to show you out there that being a Christian is not only about going to church and sing. It's not only about dressing up on Sabbath or Sunday for that matter. It's about the things that we do that counts, the message that we send, right? The message that we send. Remember, every time we do an act representing God, we're sending a message. Is that message labeling the word integrity in our lives? How? We have 10 minutes to go. One word. How can we maintain our integrity as we go through this life as Christians?
Well, for me, and some persons may find it ridiculous, but you walk with the fool, you become fool, and you walk with the wise, you become wise. You have to be with the person around you with integrity as well for you to maintain it. Because with the persons that I have in my life as friends, I have a lot of persons in my life, some without integrity, some have no principle, and some with high morals. No, funny, I choose the ones with high morals to be my friends. And if I choose them, then those characteristics will come out of me eventually. And I have seen them coming out of me because I've transformed in such a way that things I would do now, I wouldn't do that 5 years ago or 10 years ago. 15 years ago, the person who I was 15 years ago, I'm definitely not that person now. And I am proud of who I am with and the persons that I call my friends.
Amen. Copy values. Yes, G.
Yes. Yes.
It was the same thing, that my mother always says, show me your company and I'll tell you who you are. And it is so true, I've had situations in my own practice, for example, where particular client comes and I hear my secretary at the phone telling them, Mrs. Harrison would never do that. I may as well not call her attention to it. She's not going to do that. So the people around you must know what you will never do.
Amen.
And they must respect you for that. Also, you must understand that while you are placed in leadership positions, which a lot of us will be placed in, that as Christians, we are to protect those persons who can't protect themselves. And so sometimes you have to make hard decisions. I remember being in an organization where I was called to a meeting for a staff for whom I supervised. And when I was called to speak about her, when I spoke about her, my boss was very angry with me because she said that she was trying to get rid of that person and I wasn't helping. And, I had to say to her that, I have no problem with disciplining someone, but I can't not speak the truth and send up somebody home. Because at the end of the day, I have to live with my conscience. And integrity means sometimes that you're going to lose a promotion when you stand for integrity. Sometimes it's going to mean that you lose some friends. Sometimes it means that you will be left alone because people are okay with you until you say no.
Yeah.
True.
But sometimes you have to learn to say no. Nothing wrong with no.
Amen. Yes, Katie, I'm closing thought.
I was just had to I will call it now. Latch on to something that George had said. Standing for integrity can cause you to lose promotion. But I want to extend that it can actually cause you to lose out on eternity, which is a great sacrifice.
Yes.
And especially as we approach these, or we, traverse through these last days, it is going to become more important for us to establish and to maintain our integrity. It is those of us who know who in whom we believe will be
Hallelujah
in the end, because a choice will be placed before us, and that choice has to be made, whether it is you're going to stand for God or to try to save your life. But the Lord even cautions us against that if we try to save our lives, we shall lose it.
Yeah.
So, in other words, God is saying that if you stand for me, I will stand for you.
Amen.
And that is the encouragement that that rare person, that great want of the world, that can't be bought or sold, that Ellen G. White speaks about in the book of Education, standing for integrity regardless of the situation.
Amen. And my question...
I know time is going, Sister Pella, but I just want to say this. We cannot of ourselves have integrity.
Amen.
Integrity comes from God and comes through God. So we have to daily put ourselves before Him, because there's so many things that we say that I would never do, and we end up doing, but for God. Right?
And another thing, I want to give the other day, somebody called the shop phone, to say that she heard that she can get a certificate from me, but she don't want to come in and do any training or anything. All she don't want to go to school. She just want to pay for the certificate. Now, Mr. Scott told them that, no, you can't do that, and Miss Reed is not going to do that. You would definitely have to come in. Anyway, she insisted on talking to me about it. When I called her to find out, that's exactly what she don't want to go to school. She just want to pay me for the certificate. I said to her, she said she's a nurse. I said, okay, did you go to university to get your certificate to do training, to do your practice? Yes. So I said, so why don't you want to go to school to do hairdressing? Is it that you put it under the carpet? It's under the carpet profession where you can just go and buy a certificate to mess up people's hair and skin. And she said, oh, I didn't thought of it that way. I said, no, I wouldn't do that. But I'm paying him. I said, I don't want no money. All right. So there's some little things people just want to do without the right thing.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. Well, the question I want to ask our listeners this evening, and for those who are followers of Christ, whose report shall they believe? When they see you walk around, when they see you do stuff, when your neighbors see you do stuff, whose report are they going to believe? Are they going to believe the person who is walking with God with integrity? Are they going to believe the person who is afraid of being called a Christian, a person who is professing to be a Christian, but is not? I pray that today, in our discussion space, you would have heard the calling to stand for integrity, though the heavens fall. So until we meet again, right here in this discussion space, the pals are saying, walk with your integrity, because it will be richly rewarded when Christ calls you home. Goodbye.